Hello class, today we're going to work on this panda painting. So I'm gonna put him out of the way and bring some paint in. And you will be sharing a palette that looks like this: black and blue, red and gold together, and white. So the first thing that you wanna do is take your biggest brush. You're gonna have a big brush, kind of a flat medium brush, and a detailer. And make sure some of these brushes are not cleaned thoroughly, so make sure you wipe that brush off really good with tissue. The first thing I want you to do is take your white paint, dip it in here, just dip, please don't stir, and put 1 dip, 2 dip, and I'm gonna go the other direction, 3 dip, 4. And I want you to just spread that all over your paper real quick. The next thing I want you to do, don't worry about cleaning your brush, just go straight into that blue. 1 dip, 1, 2, 3, and I think I will wind up getting 4. All right, so now just take your brush. We want that to be a very light blue background. And as you can see, I'm kind of getting a little dry there. So we are gonna go back in and pull up some white. We want a really pale blue background, so that's why we're using a lot of white and a little blue. And I'm just going back and forth real quick. It's okay if it's streaky. And if you feel like, I feel like I have a lot of white in here, I'm gonna dip into that blue a little bit. I'm gonna spread it out so it doesn't get to be too much blue in one area and too dark. All right, I'm gonna spread it, and then I'm gonna go, once I've spread it and kind of thinned it out on my brush, then I'm gonna go back in my white. And if you notice, I'm not getting a lot of color mixed between my blue and my white. Make sure you don't put a very white paint covered brush back into your blue, because remember that I am using these palettes all day. And it's okay if it's a little dry, because we're gonna be putting something on top of it soon. So you don't want your paint to be thick, but you kind of want to get rid of those little dry marks that you see there. All right, just about done. And again, don't worry about the table. We will wipe that up at the end. All right, so we're gonna wipe our brush off. We'll clean it at the end. And we're gonna move to our kind of medium brush. Oh, it's a little wet. So we're gonna dry it off. So the next thing I want you to do, since we're gonna be putting a panda on here, you see that his face is just a circle. You wanna make sure and leave enough room on either side for some bamboo. So we don't want that circle too much at the top. We're gonna put some bamboo leaves above his head. So if I would say halfway, I'd say is about here. So go a little up from halfway, and let's paint a white circle to mark where that bear's head is gonna be. So you're just gonna take your brush, dip into the white. I'd say halfway is here, so go a little up higher than that and paint a circle. Remember that you need room for bamboo on the sides, and you need room for his shoulders below. And since we didn't use a lot of paint in our background, you can see there's really not a lot of blue paint getting on my paintbrush. And I have a fingerprint down there. We'll fix that later. It's kind of an artist signature there. Yeah, it's really hard to hold the paper with your finger without getting paint on your finger. All right, so we're filling in that white circle. And then we're going to do his shoulders. So you're simply, for his shoulders, you're simply just coming down one side. It's kind of an arm curve because we're going to put a black arm there. And the other side. So basically you're just covering the background so that we have white for the panda's belly, white so the black shows up really good. So when you're doing your background, if you want to put more blue at the top and less in the middle, that'll be beneficial for you. You won't have to color so much up here like I'm doing to cover the blue. All right, last thing we're gonna do with the panda before we start on the bamboo, wipe your brush really good. Dip your brush in the black. We're gonna use the blade